Be ready. 10 seconds to go. Start, Mr. Deputy Chairman, sir. This is to request the government to kindly allocate at least 20% of the tax collected from the rubber sector for supporting the rubber growers in the country. The government collects an amount of rupees 15,000 crore from income tax, corporate tax and import duty. Moreover, the government has already collected more than rupees 1000 crore as rubber cess. At the same time, the rubber growers in the country are under acute financial crisis due to the continuous fall in the prices of natural rubber. If the government could earmark 20% of amount generated through various taxes and cess from the rubber sector for the support of rubber growers in the country, it will be a great relief for them in this difficult period. Therefore, I request the government to kindly help the rubber growers in the country. The Uri incident has once again raised the issue of terrorism, and it is imperative for us to discuss the challenges terrorism poses to our national security. India has long been a victim of cross border terrorism, and recent developments in operations of terrorist organizations, especially ISIS, is a source of considerable concern. The ISIS has reportedly successfully recruited Indians to join their armed struggle and is trying to establish a base in India. The data pertaining to arrests, detainment, and counseling for ISIS links reveals that 70% of Indians arrested herein belong to middle and upper middle classes. Reports of ISIS carrying out its operations with Bangladeshi insurgent groups pose a grave threat to the security of northeastern states. Therefore, there is an urgent need to discuss these issues and address them on a priority basis to ensure that menace of cross border terrorism does not aggravate any further. On September 12 this year, the 108th Constitution Amendment Bill, popularly known as the Women's Reservation Bill, completed 20 years of being in existence. It seeks to reserve one third of all seats for women in the Lok Sabha and the state legislative assemblies. The historic legislation stands for equal opportunities for women and would be instrumental in voicing concerns and problems of millions of Indian women in parliament. While the passing of the bill in the Rajya Sabha in 2010 was a cause for much jubilation, till date the Lok Sabha has not voted on the bill. The bill lapsed after the dissolution of the 15th Lok Sabha in 2014. I therefore appeal to the House and the Government of India to introduce this progressive legislation and take the cause of women empowerment to its logical conclusion. Sir, dredging of rivers, inland waters, ports would result in savings of water. We often find that in our rivers, port, and waterways there is no navigation, which results in huge loss Added to this, we find encroachment on the river beds. There is an urgent need for dredging of rivers. There is no dearth of rivers in our country, but due to absence of proper dredging mechanism in place, most of the rivers are near empty and without water. We could find water only during monsoon. Proper dredging at regular interval is needed to restore the health of our waterways. With climate change taking over every other method of our efforts to improve environment, we need to focus on dredging to ensure that our rivers, ports and waterways live forever and not die in the foreseeable future. Hence, I would request the government and the Ministry of Shipping to make efforts to pay utmost importance to dredging and improving our navigational channels and bring back our ports, waterways, and rivers to life. On railway platforms, there is an arrangement in existence for decades that stall holders are shouldering the responsibility of maintaining, vending, or catering services to railway passengers through their allotted subunits so that the passengers are not deprived of catering facilities when trains are stationed at platform. These moving vending trolleys are able to reach up to both the end of the long trains having around 22 to 24 coaches. Therefore, there is no need to disturb the existing arrangements of vending system existing in our Indian railways. The small vending contractors are having 4-5 stalls only, and they may be allowed to continue under policy 2010, but I think not more than 10 stalls should be permitted. The provision in the policy is to allow 10 numbers of units in one zone to one licensee. Therefore, I would request the railway minister to continue with the existing policy. The rising level of air pollution is one of the most pressing public health disasters of our time. We are suffering from a state of air emergency, but we have failed to take preventive measures. Countries like China, which had similar problems, have taken various steps to control the rising pollution. China has instituted regionally coordinated system of air pollution monitoring and installed high-tech pollution abatement equipment on a majority of its power plants as well as devised means to restrict car ownership in major cities. Stop